Okay, so hello, Despina. Thank you for joining. So as I mentioned before, the goal of this session is for the algorithms that I've created and I've designed to learn from disinformation like experts in disinformation, experts in fact checking, as much as possible in a very short time, and also to see how do you feel about the system, what do you see as being its limitations. So if you would like for like a brief introduction of you, your name, and uh, your specialty.
So my name is Despina Kovachevska, and I work as a media monitor. But what I do is usually I monitor the media on the topics of disinformation and hate speech. And what I do is after I do analysis of the narratives, the spread, who is spreading them, where they appear, why this, basically on whole narrative level, but also media level wise. And I do this for the Western Balkans.
That sounds great. So,
I'll be a human
yeah,
check and balances.
human in the loop. Actually, you
Yeah.
are our human in the loop. So the interview has three parts. In the first part, we will do a checking of the system, like testing it, looking at its limitations, things like that. In the second part, the system already crawled different sources from the internet and predicted some labels. So let's say this is false, this is true, but is unsure of the predicted labels. So it needs your input. And in the last part is just some free thoughts and a Google form with 10 questions. So,
Mm.
but at any point, I come back to this. The goal of this session is for the system to learn from you. The system is not like in a finalized state, it's not maybe that intuitive. So at any time when you don't understand something or just think out loud, ask me, I'm here to help. But also I would try to not intervene that much so I don't influence what you have to say. Okay.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. I will share my screen. Okay. Okay. So this is how the system looks like at the moment. Okay. And here is the manual input. For starting, I will show you, let's pretend that I'm the expert and I'll say,
Okay.
okay, to test this system, I would like to see if the system flags this sentence. So the EU forces people to eat insects. Okay. And now the system takes the text and analyzes it and has to give a label. The system, since it's a big model, it's working a bit slower, so we'll have to have a bit of patience with it because it's not that fast. And the whole system is designed to sort of look at information in the perspective of narratives. So whenever it gives a label, it gives a label because it is part of a narrative. So for the EU forces people to eat insects, it predicted the label disinformation because it's part of the narrative. People are being coerced into consuming insects. And if we look at the internal structure of the system, we can see that it found these two fake news. And because these are two fake news, it found this narrative, it created its own abstraction as people are being coerced into consuming insects, being a disinformation narrative. Is it clear?
Yes, for sure it's clear.
Let's give it a try. What would you test this system with?
I would go with NATO is forcing the poor countries to give money for war, or third world countries, or joining. Okay, NATO is forcing their members, their member countries, because if you're not a member, you cannot give money, to give money for war with Russia.
Yeah. So the system predicted this as disinformation, and part of the narrative, NATO is planning military conflict with Russia. And if we look at the internal structure, it's this NATO was preparing for the war with Russia, and it's also part of the bigger narrative Western organizations are preparing for war with Russia. How do you feel about it? Is it okay? Is it not okay?
I knew this information because
Okay.
what I do, and maybe it will connect to more than one narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike, can I have questions or after I comment?
Yeah, no, please do.
Okay, my question is, with what does it check the disinformation? Like, what is the background of the system? I put the disinformation, and it goes where? On Google, and it searches for fact-checking organizations that already fact-check?
No, so it's an algorithm. It when I've created this, I've gathered some data from fact checkers who monitor this information, and also I've gathered some real data, and now the system behind the scenes, it has these two worlds, like this information world and the real world. And in both of these worlds, there are like principles and values and what is considered real in each world. So there are some sketches in each world. And when we introduce a text, it tries to fit in one of these two worlds.
So it's either disinformation or it's not, depends of the. But what if it's half-half?
Then it says that it's true because it doesn't know. So when it
Let's
does
like
know,
climate change is invented.
how?
Climate change is invented. No, but I wanted to, sorry, to continue it with something that's half-half.
Okay.
Climate change, yeah, climate change is invented. Um, Temperatures are rising in Europe. So this is half-half.
Yeah.
So
It still
see,
find it inside the climate change is fabricated and unimportant as a big narrative.
so
So
this so this is a fact checker. For us will be half truth. It will not be labeled as full disinformation because it's true that temperatures are rising in Europe.
okay.
So if it put it as a if it's labeled as a disinformation, then it will not be just disinformation.
Okay. This is like a very good point. I would note it down that it should split because if there are multiple sentences, it might be like um, a mix score. Okay, let's try it on some more. Like imagine that you have to buy this system, and this system scans all the social media or everything and just brings you like these pieces of interest. What are some pieces that it should not miss or it should miss?
In order to have better work, or as a user,
As a
what would I
user,
like?
let's just test the system. Give it some more text.
Let me see what I can do. let's try with prediction like Donald Trump or Trump, how you want, will have another 4 years of presidency. Meaning, meaning he will win the next elections.
I think this is a hard one. Let's see if the system knows. Yeah, so it marks it as disinformation, but I don't know, the narrative, it says that the 2020 US presidential election was fraudulent. So it
connects with Trump, and whenever he sees the Trump and elections, it goes to the disinformation.
yes, when it's, I don't know, let's try to give it like something true about Trump and elections. Let's see if it
If I can comment on this,
yes.
When we fact check, we cannot fact check predictions. Whenever I say there will be a third world war, or Donald Trump will be the next president, or Russia will win the war in Ukraine, or Ukraine will fall in 2 years, let's say. We as a fact checker, although it's a narrative, we cannot fact check it by our codex. Because it's a prediction. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. So for you, maybe you can label something as prediction, as non-fact checkable, just for the system, if you want to.
So you say that these kind of systems would be more useful if they would detect what events are said to be happening in the future.
And what? Or this is non-existent event, for example.
Yeah, and just fact check
Yeah.
past events, because otherwise the label of being true or false has no meaning.
Yes. And sometimes even when we fact check something, after some year, it's not true anymore. Like after some years, actually, what was this information can become true. So it's a bit risky with predictions.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So this is another. Sorry if I comment like this, your system.
Yeah, no worries. So this is, even though it's recorded, I want it to be like an informal session for also other researchers that might want to develop this kind of algorithms or system, to have to have your perspective as experts and better understand what you need, how you think, and how you perceive these kind of systems.
The hardest part is with half truths, but let's try about something that we don't know if it happened. Let's try, I don't know, something that I know from the Balkans. In Bosnia, in the Yugoslav war, with Yugoslavia, it's with Ipsilon. How do you say? It's not like our Yugoslavia. It's with Y.
With a Y. Okay. Can you write it in the chat, please? I don't know.
Or go in Bosnia in the war.
In
Go without Yugoslavia. Let's see what war will it read.
Okay.
In Bosnia in the war, 250 children were killed.
Okay. So it says that the predicted label is true because the LLM could not find this as supporting any disinformation narrative. So this is exactly like the two worlds. So it understands the worlds through narratives. So as I said, with the EU forcing to eat insects, and it takes like the big concepts. But in this case, I don't even know if this is true or not. It could not find any disinformation narrative close to this.
Anything, yeah. And this is usually about genocide denial. That it's very there was a genocide in Bosnia, and it was more than 250 children that were killed, and some they don't even know the number. And UN also said it's a genocide, which Serbia does not recognize. So in the Western Balkans, it's a very let's say famous disinformation, and it's used each year as a part of conflict. This year, even in Serbia, there was a journalist attacked, and it was really a problematic event. So I would say maybe you add to the system more disinformation. Maybe you map the fact-checking organizations throughout the world, and then you try to scrape more disinformation, so it can be useful for wider audience. Let's say if I'm from Africa, I have no idea what's going on in Africa.
Yeah, so a good part of the system, for example, for this case specifically, we can mark this item as fake. For maybe you need it in your work, and maybe the system does not have like these Balkan specific disinformation, and you add this and maybe add some more because you can ingest. And now once this is ingested, whenever it will find a statement supporting this narrative, it will mark it as fake. So you can add knowledge to the system. You can mark.
You can train it.
Yeah, you can not you can also retrain it, but you can adjust it to your needs. So add information that you specifically want to see.
So let's say now if it's labeled as disinformation, okay, we label it, right?
We need a bit different. Let's do it like this. It needs to be like at least okay. So this was predicted as disinformation because now it's part of this narrative that you added inside the system.
So it can ingest. Let's try about something more when there is no world consent. Let's try with like Palestine.
Okay, this would be like the last one for this part, and then we move to the second part, or we can do 1, 2, but we are getting closer to the end of this part. Let's try the Palestine one.
Palestine is invented state.
Like this?
Yes.
Let's give it a try. So it predicts the label true because it cannot find strong matches in either tree.
Okay, just to add on this, it's sometimes as fact checkers we find multiple and let's say narratives or disinformation or claims. We say it claims before it becomes disinformation or not. So I'm claiming this, and we can only fact check claim in this sense. And we try very hard because for each country there is a different. For example, for us, Kosovo, Serbia sees Kosovo as part of Serbia, but we see Kosovo as independent state. So when we have this type of situation, we usually try to find researchers, not researchers, but documents for the European Union, for the UN Council, some bigger institution that's decided on this if it's true or not. We do not pick up research, we do not pick up fact checks or anything. We try to find an official document that says this. So sometimes will be very hard to fact check this, for example.
Yes. Yeah. Is there anything else specifically that you would like to test the system against? Like any other text?
No, because you said we move to the next.
Yeah, if it's okay also for you. But if you have something that you would really like to try, we can still try it.
No, for now it's okay. I just wanted to show you the different how to say different claims and different ways that the system can be, let's say, tricked and
Yeah.
problem with. Because with the most known disinformation narratives, it's easy. It will find.
Yes. Yes, but these are the corner cases.
Yeah, so I was trying to do that with the system, so it's also useful for you.
Yes. So now I told you at the beginning that there will be a second part, and in this second part, the system already scraped a lot of information from the internet and is unsure about some predictions. I know that your work is very complex and you research a lot any claim, like you mentioned, the one with Palestine. But for these, we will go maybe not so deep, but more on an intuition level.
Okay.
And I will also pretend that I'm the journalist just to show you how it works. So this is the first. Trump says Crimea will stay with Russia as he seeks end to war in Ukraine. Now, if I'm the journalist, I look at this and I see predicted labeled disinformation because it's part of the narrative Crimea will remain under Russian control. And I, as a journalist, might say, oh, the predicted label is false, is so wrong. Why did it do that? And I go into the internal structure and I see that it found this narrative because of these two fake news.
Yeah,
But maybe the disinformation narrative is that Pompeo said that Crimea will remain under Russian control. So maybe that's the disinformation narrative, not what the system considered to be the abstraction of the two. Or I go one step up into the narratives and I see that a bigger narrative is that Crimea is legitimately part of Russia. And I say, okay, this is a disinformation narrative, but this is false. So this is not a disinformation narrative. And I just delete it. And whenever the system will find Crimea will remain under Russian control, now it will no longer flag this as disinformation. Or I just cannot understand the system or how it worked, but this claim is true. So I mark it as true. Or, this is the last part, the system was right to say that this is disinformation. And then I say this element is correct, no change is needed.
Yeah.
So just to recap everything.
So this will train the system basically.
Yes. Just to recap what you can do as an expert, you can, one, edit or modify an existing narrative from inside the system, right? Two, you can remove a narrative because that's not a disinformation narrative. You can mark the element simply as being in the opposing category, or you can confirm that the element is correct. And one more thing, if you don't know, we can just skip any element. And that's it. Is it clear? How do you think about it?
Yes, but I have a question now.
Yes.
Sorry too. What is being the bad advocate, what is the difference between I know it's true and I know it's true and I remove it? I know it's not a disinformation claim and I remove it, or it's true and I keep it. What's the difference?
I know.
Why do I keep it now? Okay, now Trump says Crimea will stay with Russia as he seeks war in Ukraine. It's true. Let's say it's not disinformation.
Yes.
Right. If I mark as true, this will be what? That this is correct, or that the claim is true? I'm confused.
Yeah, so we have these two worlds, right? The disinformation world and the real,
Yeah.
the true
And
world.
if I say mark as true, it will go to the true. It will
Yes.
not be labeled anymore as disinformation, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it goes to the one that's like checking if it's true or not.
Yes.
But you said to me, if I see Crimea will remain under Russian control, and I know this is true because somebody said it, why do I remove it? Why do not put it into the true part?
Yeah, so
Sorry for this.
you can also remove it from the fake part.
Okay. I remove it I don't remove it from the system. I remove it from the disinformation part.
Yes.
Okay, now it's logical. Okay,
Yes.
sorry, it's confusing.
Yeah, no, it's normal
Because
to
for
be
me it was like a
confusing.
double feature which does the same.
Yes, it is a bit. It's more like if we can delete it from here, it's
Mhm.
good to delete it from the disinformation world so it stays clean. But if we don't understand the system or something is, you cannot correct it, you just add it to the true part. And then when the system will have to decide, we'll have these 2 points which will be
Yeah,
very,
it's checking if it's true or not.
yeah,
So if it's more closely to the true,
yeah,
it will say it's true. Yeah, understand how it works. Just that I thought it's a double feature. It was weird.
yeah. No worries,
What?
it's very good that you ask. So now for 20 minutes, let's try to do some of this. What do we do with this one? Now you are the real expert. I just said all the possible versions, or maybe not. Maybe I missed the real.
This, to be honest, when I do fact checking, sometimes I will think that people would never say this, but they actually say it. So I really check multiple sources. Sometimes I'm like, oh, of course he will say this. When it comes from Trump, I think he can say anything. He even said that the immigrants eat dogs. So, and from him, I expect anything. That he seeks to end the war in Ukraine, for sure. He said that he will finish the war, I'm sure. But did he say that Crimea will stay with Russia? I think he didn't.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe this will be half true.
Okay. So do we ignore it? Or do we consider it correct?
So for me, this was before I told you what we do with half truths, for example.
We just ignore them. Maybe.
We just ignore them.
I
So
don't
you need
know.
either this information, either not. But
Yes.
if we take the whole, he said that that Trump says, I have to, I'm not sure. I have to fact check this.
Yeah. Then let's just move to the next one. And just to remove some maybe tension into like finding what's real or what's not, maybe we can think of it like if I would have a system which scans everything and
Yeah, and I know this, like, how will okay, I'll try to.
and would the system bother me if it would notify me on something like this is not worthy of my experience as a fact checker to go deep, like this is not suspicious at all? Or am I glad that the system flagged this, even though after research it's not actually disinformation? So we can also look it in this
Like
way.
this, okay.
So let's go to the next one. So the next one is this.
Journalists for independent media is established in Finland.
Yeah, this was predicted
This
as
is
true.
this is very possible, but means nothing in a sense of fact checking. Maybe if I'm from Finland.
So we mark it as true, as correct.
Yes, that's correct. So. U.S. offered land of Ukraine for peace with Russia. It's false, for sure. It's not true, but this is a good one. This is a good example
So we mark this
because
item as being fake.
okay, yes,
Good.
Russia could negotiate peace that considers. This also it's a problematic. This is a very hard claim. It's not fact checkable.
Okay.
Russia could. It's a prediction. Could negotiate a peace that considers the will of former Ukraine. Here we don't have claim. in order to have a fact check, we need to have a claim. It should be Russia negotiates a peace. But
Okay.
it could happen or it could not happen. We don't know. This is what I was telling you. It's a prediction.
We
So
ignore
it's
it.
we ignore that. There are no anti-Western extremist parties in Romania. There are no. But this is not a disinformation. This is more. There's no anti-Western. Well, maybe they are. They are. No, actually, I'm sure they are in Romania. Than with the last elections. But how extremist they are, I would go as true. Al Qaeda was created to destroy the Russian sensors. Okay, this for sure is disinformation. Because this I know. Democratic governor consigns Biden, not strongest communicator in chief, partly.
In this one, we can also look into the internal structure. So this says that it falls under this narrative. Biden's leadership is harmful and unlawful.
This I think was said by somebody. It says it's information.
Yes, it labels it as a disinformation.
Yes, because for example, Biden presidency is illegitimate and dangerous. It's not illegitimate, so you cannot have illegitimate president of the USA. Dangerous, it's an opinion. Biden has legal okay, which this is disinformation, but democratic government concerns Biden not strongest communicator. Maybe this was said by somebody.
Okay.
This I would go with. I'm not sure. So this I would, if I was to work, I would fact check it and then come back to it.
Then we
It
just.
sounds like something that somebody said. And usually when it's something that somebody said, we treat it as missing context because it doesn't say who said it.
So you just this is a question. You think that maybe systems who try to learn how this information looks like should never train on text like X person said this, because that is not fact checkable, right?
Opposite. I'm saying that when you train the system, sometimes these claims that are disinformation are connected with something that somebody says. So if, let's say, Despina said that blah blah blah, they will remove this that Despina said it, and it will be Biden, it's illegitimate president, and I don't know, but it will remove. So when we see it, it's disinformation.
Okay.
But when we add that I said it, also, although I said the disinformation, then it's not disinformation because as a media, I'm quoting you.
Okay.
So this can be a trick when you train it.
Okay.
Have this in usually when it's a statement from somebody, it has to have a name. This and this said this and this. Then not disinformation, if it's true.
Okay.
When it's attributed. Also, it's very important to look at attribution. This is why it's hard to train a system only on language model without contextual one.
Okay, that's very interesting insight. Yeah, let's try the next one.
It is actions target refugees cut off access to life-saving problems. This I would executive actions target refugees cut off access to life-saving programs. This I cannot. I need to fact check. I have no idea what's going on with this. Yes. Who does not cure but cripples? Okay, this I would mark as disinformation.
Okay, we ingest it.
It's true, but actually it's disinformation.
Yeah, now we marked it as disinformation, and now it's ingesting into the system as a new data point of
And it's
disinformation.
very, now we see a lot of disinformation, and we used to have, especially in the COVID time, towards the World Health Organization. Minnesota Republicans sue to force elections, returning White House. This also, I am not from the USA, so I'm not so much into their policy. So maybe disinformation, maybe not. Me as a fact checker from, not being from the USA, I'll have to check this. Ukraine will not survive the winter without the gas from Donetsk. This probably it's disinformation, because this was very disinformations are very common, like this type also for Europe. But also I have to doubt what is giving you, why is it marking, is it true? Can you give me context
It
to see the structure?
it did not find any
Um,
linking
any
disinformation narrative. So, for example, for the system at hand, if you would say, I don't know, Ioana wears a green T-shirt, it does not have access to like information and everything. It just knows the big disinformation areas, the big disinformation teams, which keep coming back. So it tries to find like the red line.
this disinformation, you will have its variation with you also, and usually every winter you have it.
That
Each winter
yeah.
you have it as a narrative towards European Union, also anti-EU, not just anti-Ukraine. That without the gas from Russia, the EU will not survive the winter because it was buying previously gas from Russia.
Hmm.
So this is the information on Bosnia. Okay, that was ours.
Yes.
EU Army Common European Defense Union needed still for the line. This when somebody says something, I have to check, and this is very easy to check.
Hmm.
So this will be for me 1 minute to check.
Let's check
Because
it.
yeah, because if she said it, she is a official from the EU, and they always post everything.
Oh, okay. We would need to.
Build defense, okay.
Tell me if I need to click something.
Go a bit up.
Up.
No, down. Sorry, a bit down. Stop here. A bit up. European Commissioner hat says you need defense union on Anadolu. Let's click this. This one. Yeah. So this is true. She really said that. And I know this because this is a good medium. Also because I work in fact checking. Usually some of the medias are reliable, some are not. So when we try to fact check also, we see if it's Reuters, BBC, some, and this is a good one. It's Turkish, but it's a good one.
Okay.
So she says that.
So then we marked it as true, as being
Yeah.
true. Okay. We have 3 more minutes, so we have one or two of these examples.
This is a bit a problem for fact checking. They, but who is they? Doesn't tell me anything. This probably it's a statement from somebody, and they also made a contract for this. I'll have to fact check, and this is probably was said by somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So first I will see who said it, and then I'll go to see if it's true or not. This is a lot of work, so let's move to another.
Yeah.
Global warming, it's collective delirium as the climate gets colder. This is false, for sure. Because the climate in some places gets colder because of the climate change.
Yes.
cooperation between Armenia and the US is a threat to Russia's interest in the. This I will have to see who said it. Probably it's a disinformation, but maybe somebody said this, so I have to. This I will have to check because it's US.
Okay, and now the last one. Let's see.
It's possible to count the outbreak of from the Holocaust and the petition. It is possible to count. Probably, this I have to check also.
Good.
And also this, when we fact check, it's very hard to find a claim. It is possible to count the outbreak. It is possible or it's not. It's like we don't know. Maybe it's possible, maybe it's not. So the first thing when it comes to this information, also we need to, in order to fact check it, we need to have a claim. Sometimes claim it's non-existing. So this is maybe a label that you can.
Yeah, I think it's very
Like not fact checkable, for example.
yes.
Or a prediction or.
Yes, yes. It's a very tough job to find the truth. How do, like, this is the last part, so I would just like to ask you, how do you feel about such a system? How did you find the system? Like, honestly, what do you think about
if I was a fact checker and I would put the claim that I find directly into the system to tell me if it's true or not, it's a very usable. It's a very, for me, it will save me a lot of time to do that. And maybe it will be in a sense biased because, of course, we have to double check. But for the things that I'm mostly sure that they are disinformation, let's say, it will save me time. I will totally trust the system. Let's say most of the disinformation about the EU, I know them, let's say. So I put it in the system. It finds a very similar claim. It flags the disinformation. I'm safe. I would not do anything. But when it comes to this that I'm not sure, I think again we'll need to be a human to double check, because also sometimes the context is very important. As fact checkers, maybe I don't know for who it's intended to be used, but we have many labels, as I said. We don't have false or true only. So this is another maybe thing to be added. Let's say if I'm a fact checking organization and I'm ordering, then we have missing context, we have non-fact checkable or prediction, we have satire also. Can it see if it's satire or not? So we have these labels that we use. Maybe this will be good to have.
So you find this that this would be like a limitation of the system. It's too narrow into true or false, when actually the labels are so much more diverse, like not enough context and things like that.
Yes.
That's very good. It's very good because I think, like, with this video, at least I hope, but also I will mention your feedback into the research paper. This feedback would get to people who are building AI systems for detection of disinformation. So they should hear about what you think should have, like, what are the features of a disinformation detection system from an expert point of view.
And another thing that I would mention, it's usually the fact checks of the sites that fact checkers use and publish their fact checks are free. So if you go to the European fact checking network, or you'll find all the organizations that exist in the part of European Union, and maybe you can scrape their fact checks because they are free. And in each fact check, you have this information there. So basically, each fact check has a disinformation that it's explaining to you why it's disinformation. So if you have those disinformation claims, you can insert it and you'll have a bigger database. It's going to be much easier for you to work.
Have you felt like there are some limitations regarding to the knowledge of the system? Is it?
Yeah, this is why I mentioned it. The system, it's I don't know what did you have as information in the background. So whichever database you use, my approach is to take a database from already fact-checked disinformation in order to train it like that first. Because if you take a database from, let's say, Google or all the media, and then from there you narrow down disinformation or not, it's going to be much harder. But if you go first with all the disinformation claims, then maybe it's going to be easier for training. But also, this is another your expertise, what is better.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
But
But we always accept feedback and suggestions from the exterior. Yeah. So, Despina, if there is nothing else you would like to add, thank you a lot for joining me and for trying the system. And yeah, thanks.
thank you and good luck.
Thank
And if
you.
you have more questions after, or if I have something that I will sometimes when a bit of a time passes, I mean, I see some other things. So maybe tomorrow I get back to you with more detailed feedback.
That's great. I will stop now the recording.